Kia ora, New Zealand. Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. My name's Matt Drake. This is episode 107. 107. Good evening, Brady Cush. Oh. Let's have another go. Have another go at that.
Good evening, Matt. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well. 107 indeed. It's been you've been back in Wellington now for what day are we on? Thursday, 3 days. Recovered.
Yeah, itching to get out and play more disc golf, but kind of have to wait till the weekend. Silly work.
Indeed. But yeah, look. So we've got a great show for you tonight. We're going to go through some hot scores from around the country. As previously, let's see if we can turn Brady up. Let's have a go at this. All right, Brady, sound check.
Sound check. Can you hear me, man?
That's louder for me. Hopefully, that's louder for everybody else.
Silly Americans.
Let us know in the chat if Brady's mic's at the right volume now. We're going to go through some hot scores. First up. Then we are going to be talking to our guest Cassie Sweeten, who is the FPO National Champion. She got crowned that at the weekend, just gone, down in Invercargill, and she's going to be talking to us all about how she went about doing that, and yeah, and also the return, Brady, of Desert Island Disc Golf. We haven't done Desert Island Disc Golf for ages. So that's going to be very fun. We'll find out all about Cassie's favourite discs, and also for many of you out there who may not have even been around for Desert Island Disc Golf, you'll get to see what the hell we're talking about. So yeah, that'll be good. We're also going to go through all of the Nationals results, pick them apart, piece by piece, look at who played well and who didn't, and yeah, that the data analytics team have told me that the power rankings will be available tomorrow. Okay, so look out for a post which I'll put out on the socials, and that will direct you to the Sweet Chain Music website, and on there you'll be able to see the power rankings, all the changes, and you'll be able to search for yourself to see if you've gone up or down as well. It's been a little bit trickier to put them together, given that we've had so many visitors, not least our guest tonight, playing in our tournaments. So we've the algorithms have kind of gone off a little bit, but we shall. They'll be all good for tomorrow. Right, hot scores. Brady, takes through the south.
As ever, we start down south. Queen's Park in Invercargill. Keith Steffens shoots a -12 for the hot round this week. In Dunedin, Chingford Park, Nicholas McDermott shoots a -7 to top the leaderboard. And in Brockville, Gregor Brosnan shoots -9, the perfect round. Queenstown Gardens, Simon McKay and Paul McKernan shoot -10. And at Tucker's Beach, Australia's Jonathan Jonas shoots -3 for the hot round. Looks like JJ was getting around. He also gets the hot round at Ely Point in Wanaka with 2 under. And at Lismore Park, Tom Baker tops the leaderboard with 11 under par. Let's shoot up to the Garden City. Jelly Park, Alex and Finn Steed shoots -8. At Ascot Park, Jason Ormanley shoots a -1. Queenstown Park, Hanare, Nuku shoots -6. And at Brooker Ave, James Goldingham shoots -4 to finish out the South Island this week. What's the North Island doing, Matt?
Okay, down in the North Island, oh my word, I've lost it. It's gone off my screen. My apologies.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Data analytics team is letting you down this week.
They are. I really need to have words. The data analytics team will be getting a piece of my mind a little bit later on, because this simply won't do. Bear with me for 2 seconds. Lots of names I didn't recognise in that group that you just mentioned there. Some new people getting out and about, probably taking advantage of the fact that everybody's playing at nationals instead of their local course, right?
Well, I do like Aussie's JJ coming over and getting some hot rounds, just like Avery and Maverick came over and got some hot rounds. Apparently, Cassie's ace in Queenstown Gardens didn't come in with a hot round this week.
Oh, you got to shoot pretty hot at Queenstown Gardens to like across the whole course to really make a dent there, right? It's a pretty tricky course.
Yeah, aces on all 3 isn't enough.
That's it. Right, here we go. Up at Berrenport, the hot round for the week was Matt Broughton, who put in a -7 up in the hills. Incredible score from him. Ben Morrison's -5 at Hikoikoi was enough to take out the hot round at on the foreshore, and Mike Riley also hit 5 under par at Harcourt Park. Ryan Kitto got out and about in Linklater to shoot 6 down, along with Ephraim Russell, who matched him this week, and Amy Whitmore's 3 down at Maryland's was enough for her to take the crown. Travis in Topor shoots a 5 under par at Spa Park Red, and King Patty up in McLaren's shoots 1 under par. Finally, Richard Waterson hits 12 under par at Henderson to take out the hot round in the far north. Right. I think people are saying that your mic's fixed, or at least better now, which is very good. So yeah, please let us know if there's any changes. We're going to bring on our guest now, and our guest tonight is your New Zealand FPO champion. If you've got any questions for Cassie as we go along, chuck them in the comments. But we'd like to welcome her at this time. Good evening, Cassie.
Hey, how are we?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
You've been home now for a couple of days?
Oh, what day are we at? We're at Thursday. I arrived home Tuesday night.
Tuesday night. Okay, and has it sunk in? Have you had time to recover and really kind of reflect on the weekend?
I haven't. I was straight back into work.
Oh.
I'm kind of like filtering through all my photos and videos that I took over the whole week, and it's kind of reminiscing on the amazing trip that I had down over across to New Zealand. So yeah, I'll get there. I think I've got the weekend free, and I'm just going to process everything that kind of happened.
And so you haven't really had too much time to play very much disc golf.
I haven't touched the disc at all. Yeah, unfortunately. But I work full time, and I come home to my family, and it's just been go, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just
You got
reality.
Excellent. And so, talk us through the kind of weekend. What were some of the highlights for you over the weekend in Invercargill?
I suppose just coming over and playing my first event in New Zealand is a huge highlight. Getting to meet everyone that I can have engaged with on social media that I haven't met in person, and then catching up with old crew like Brady. I haven't seen him for what, like 5 years? 6
Something
years?
like that. Easy.
Teenagers. And Bob, like, Bob and the Kiwis used to come over for nationals. I've seen him for years. So they were huge highlights for me, seeing old new friends and meeting new friends, which is cool.
Sorry, Brady, go on.
Well, what is it like competing in a new country with new discs? Because is this your first big tournament with Dynamic?
Yeah, first big event since the transition from Innova to DD. And it was, it was good.
Looks like it went all right.
Yeah. You saw some of it, so.
I mean, we'll talk a little bit later, and they may even come up in your in Desert Island Disc Golf. So you recently made the transition to the Dynamic from Innova. Did you find that daunting at all? Taking a whole new bag of plastic?
Well, I've been playing since 2006, and pretty much that whole time I've thrown a bag of Innova discs. So for me, I worked back with my teammate Jason Brown from Perth, and we kind of transitioned what I threw with Innova into Dynamic discs. So it didn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of friends and my husband Latitude sponsored, so he had a lot of discs as well. Just went out and did a lot of field work, and then matched them back to what my bag is now. And for me, it wasn't too hard. Everything just feels right, which is good.
And does Dynamic fly any different in New Zealand than it does in Australia?
I was trying to work out why my fingers didn't flip. It just seems to sit up and go straight. It's like, what's going on? I think I turned around to you and said, what is going on? Jesus aren't flipping. They do. Flip at home. No, they fly the same.
So what did you think of the Invercargill setup then, and the kind of tournament experience in comparison to, say, some of the Aussie tournaments that you've the big Aussie tournaments that you played?
It was next level. Like, everything was just the communication between TDs to players, the implement of the app, which we used at Australian Nationals last year, just that way of communication. I think that's a huge tick. The players welcoming, really cool. Be able to get in that little bit of New Zealand culture, I really love that. And yet they kind of similar. I just feel like this event is kind of topped maybe any Australian event I've been to. The course is beautiful. I wish that was my home course. It's, it was manicured, and the tee pads were great. I just have heaps of positive stuff. Maybe my only negative is no portaloo out the course for us. That's probably my only negative.
Yeah. Okay. That's incredible feedback to hear, especially from someone who's as experienced as you are. And I think a lot of people felt the same. You played the big course, the gold layout. Along with Brady, you played the gold layout. I played the smaller course at the weekend.
I don't even think I saw you, Matt.
Sorry?
I don't even think I saw you.
Yeah, no, you probably didn't. I was hiding away in the trees trying to avoid triple bogeys. But so did you find that, because that course was a kilometre longer than the big course for South Island Champs. It was, I think, came in at about 3.2 Ks all up, past 70. That's a fairly big course, right? By most people's reckonings. How did you feel going in?
I was a little scared at the length of the course, and just obviously having the maps at hand. There was no flyovers, which you couldn't really get the picture in your head of what the holes were like. We played the course on Wednesday. It wasn't fully set up, and I think there was a +1 and then a +2 on my second practice, which I was quite surprised about. I'd had that conversation with Bray prior, and he said, if you come in with a +5, +6, you'll win the event. So I kind of had that in the back of my head going into that practice, that was my benchmark. I think there was only like 3 par 3s, Brady, was it? Like, there wasn't many. And I normally play events with a lot more par 3s, but I didn't find it a struggle. It was more placement and disc choice to be able to capitalize on those bigger holes.
Yeah. And in the end, you came in at the on the like plus 18, which was plus 6, 3 plus 6. You didn't do it that way, but equivalent of 3 plus 6s. So, were you happy with your play? Because I mean, you won the division pretty comfortably. I'm sure it didn't feel that way.
The first day, I wish I had played better, but the wind and the elements were a lot different to what the second and third day were. So I take the first round of I played safe golf to kind of put me in a position where I know what I needed to do the second and third day. I think after the first day, I was 6 strokes ahead going into the second. I was all over the weather, making sure I knew what the wind was going to be doing and what time the rain was going to be coming. And I felt like I prepared mentally for it to be windier on the second and third day, which it kind of cooled off, and the rain seemed to push through earlier than what it was supposed to. So we kind of got nice weather. I think round 2 I shot plus 3, which I was racked with. I think it came in with 937 round rating. So that was kind of like a big tick for me. And then going into the final round, I was 14 strokes ahead, and I just knew I needed to play my game, play safe, and do what I need to do to take the win and not give away any strokes.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 strokes around a 15-stroke victory. Clearly, there's something that you were doing better on the weekend than the rest of the division. What do you think created that score separation between you and the rest of the field?
I had this conversation with Abby. She's such a beautiful young girl who has so much potential. And I watched her as well as Haley and Michelle step up to those par 5s, and they just attacked. And the first par 5 happened at OB. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to throw a mid off the tee. It's all about placement, where they were throwing high and going OB, throwing past the drivers. For me, it was like, okay, pull back on the drive, get your second stop placed as placement, and then attack. And I think all rounds I come in with 6s on both par 5s, which felt like a par for me. So I went in and what holes I should attack and what I should pull back and just play placement golf. I think the other hole was 15, where the tee pad's behind the green. As you're going down the back straight, that was another thing. I was like, okay, I'm just going to play soft and take it forward. Take big drive, pitch up, basket, drop it in. So I was doing that with the girls who were trying to attack over the green, and that's where your OB come into play. So I felt like I used my sense in that way, making sure that I played the golf that I know I can and capitalized on the things that I know I could.
Well, and you weren't the only Aussie woman to be successful on the weekend. No. Alex did really well in FA1. Yeah. So what is it? What differences do you notice between like the women's division in Australia and the women's division you experienced here in New Zealand on the weekend?
It's the same. There's nothing different. Alex is a very competitive young woman. And I've known her for just over a year, and she's only been playing for over a year. And the education piece that I've been giving her is to make sure that you capitalize on the shots that you know you can execute and aim to space. Be safe. And if you think you can't get a birdie, pray for par. And she did that. She played really well. Her game has come along really well. And I'm so proud of her. I think she had a 16-stroke victory as well. So amazing.
And I know that you followed Alex and a few of the other Aussies on the red course. Do you wish you played that for the FPO division rather than the gold, or are you happy with the choice to play on the gold?
100% the gold. Yeah. There was still the technicality on that course, even though it was like a bigger course and you could, you know, get onto your skill a bit more open fairway. But you had the OB, the length of the holes were longer. Either way, I'm happy that we played the golds. If we played the reds, would have played the reds fine as well.
Now you had a camera crew following you for the whole tournament for all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
What was that like? Talk to us about your previous experience playing in front of the camera, and you know, how you found this weekend.
What camera crew? They weren't there. They were so amazing. You wouldn't have even known they were there. So I've been interviewed by Terry Miller guy in 2018 at the Aussie Champs.
Mm-hmm.
I was on feature card with Paddy Robinson, Jack O'Sullivan, and Bruce McNaughton. And then the Aussie Champs just gone, we had Ecuador. And that, like, bunch of cool crew, very professional, and it felt the same with the Blinding Lights guys. They just did what they needed to do. If I could see that the man wasn't ready, I would pull back the man and then he'd give me a thumbs up, and then I would throw. So, like, for me, they weren't there. I just play my game.
Fantastic.
Awesome to have the women's feature, though. Really cool.
Now, I'm kind of curious because I know you just searched sponsors, and I know that some of this you may not be able to talk about, but I'd be amiss if I didn't ask. Does coverage factor into, like, I know wins probably factor into your contract, but does coverage factor in as well, and like that social media aspect?
Not coverage, but social media, I just like to be present. I suppose you're not going to engage with people without having social media, and I'm huge on social media. I feel like that's how you get recognised in the sport. And it's something I've been doing forever. So for me, that's just what I do because I'm passionate about it. It's not in my contract, it's just something that I like to do.
And so what advice, I know that you talked about Abby previously. There are other women who are going to be watching this in various divisions in various countries. To get international sponsorship, to win overseas a national championship, what does it take? What are some steps that people might be able to do to kind of like follow in your footsteps?
I think it's just dedicating yourself to the sport, running events, engaging with other players and supporting other players. I've done so much over the time that I've been playing the sport that now I'm just really focusing on me as a player. I've stood down off a lot of boards and I'm just playing disc golf for the love of it now. My kids are old enough where I can leave and go overseas. So I think in the beginning, it's definitely about engaging, running events, getting women together, going out, playing socially, reaching out to any pros that you have around you for clinics. Like I run a few one-on-one clinics with the crew. But it's definitely supporting one another. We only want the best for each other, and we want everyone to play disc golf.
And so what is it now for you in terms of your next kind of big events coming up? What's on the horizon? What are you looking forward to?
So my next big one's Japan Open.
Wow.
So I'm heading there in May.
Fantastic.
I've kind of benched a couple of Australian events because I've got hip bursitis. So I've got an injury at the moment that I'm trying to work on. Coming over to New Zealand, I was worried about how I was going to go, but it seemed to not get as aggravated as what I thought it was going to be. So I need to work back now with my physio, get back into the gym and get my body right for Japan. So that will be my best event in May.
Fantastic. There's a few Kiwis heading there, eh, Brady?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I was going to say, and you did technically qualify for the Champions Cup next year in the state. Do you think Jazz will give you the hall pass and let you go?
Well, I qualified this year as well from Aussie Champs last year, but I picked New Zealand and I picked Japan because I wanted to come back to New Zealand and I wanted to come play, and I'll never ever miss a Japan Open. So maybe I'm 40 next year, so maybe that's a birthday present to myself.
Well, it's 24 as well, 2024 that you qualified for. So you got a whole year before it's over a year, in fact, before it's kind of, you know, it might even still be something that you can make.
Definitely.
Right, we've had several comments come through about the massive dog bed that's on the sofa behind you. Talk us through who owns that. Are they available for?
Do you want me to get him?
Yeah, I think that's what people want.
This is my boy. Up, come here. Here he is. Look, here.
Oh, he's a beauty, eh?
Here he is. He's a red and white border collie. This is Barkley. He's just a pup. He's just 1.5. But that's where he lives.
Excellent. Oh, look at him. He is awesome. Does he come out disc golfing with you?
He catches frisbees, and all he does is run after my frisbees and sits on them, so I know where they are.
Yeah.
But he gets too excited.
I think that's ideal for if you can make sure they know which discs are theirs, then I think you're on to a winner, eh? He
is. He's a good boy. Never choose them, just his own.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Hey, look, we're gonna go into Desert Island disc golf now. So the premise of this part of the show, for anybody who's not come across this before, and for Cassie as well, is that Cassie is stranded on a desert island. Fortunately, there is a disc golf course on this desert island, and she's been washed ashore with 3 of her favourite discs and also 3 of her favourite card mates. Okay, so her card mates can be living or dead. They can be real life or fantasy. They can be people she knows or seasoned pros. They can be whoever they want. So, first of all, take us through the discs, Cassie. What discs have made it to the desert island with you, and why have you got those discs? If you've got a choice over what was washed ashore.
My first one is my Supreme Escape, because it's the first DD disc that I truly fell in love with. Mm-hmm. So I'd feel weird if I didn't take it.
So talk to us a little bit about what the Escape does for you. That if people haven't thrown one, what can they expect?
Yeah, so I can throw this with a slight little bit of Anheuser, and it pops up snails and then S's back.
Okay.
So I get really good distance with the Escape. The next is the Black Melt Maverick.
This is just Maverick. Yeah, lovely.
A Maverick. This is just a straight shooter. I just love this disc. I can throw this and it just goes straight and then just drops off. It's really good disc.
Fantastic.
I don't have one yet.
Yeah, there was a couple of tunnels that you had to negotiate over the weekend, so a straight shoot is always quite useful to have in the bag.
We just had one.
What one though, eh? It was quite a significant one.
It was crazy. And then my EMAC Truth.
Very good.
Just a good mid-range disc. Everyone knows the EMAC Truth. Everyone has to have one. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my other one.
I love how you're not putting on the island.
No, I'm not. Just gonna park everything and drop everything.
Yeah.
Easy.
Drop-ins for everything.
Easy.
Excellent.
And
who are your 3 card mates? Who's with you?
Well, I thought long and hard about this. I would never go anywhere without my ride or die, Trisha Frequent. So she has to be there. Mm-hmm. Because I can't drink gin without her. So she'll be there. Hopefully there's gin on the desert. My next one would be Jen Allen. Because we just bonded so much and I just love watching her throw discs. Mm-hmm. And my last would be my dog Barkley.
Excellent. Because he'd find all the discs for you, and probably,
Right.
that's that would be very important on a desert island where it's quite rough around the edges. So yeah, excellent stuff. Good stuff. Now, we are now going to go into the quick fire round. So again, for people who don't know this, there's 2 parts to this. Is a family-friendly front 9, which is the same 9 questions to every guest. And we've got a safari back 9, takes the form of a this or that. So I'll kick us off with the family-friendly front 9. Are you ready? This is quick fire, okay?
Okay.
Are you ready? What's your name?
Cassie Sweeten.
Where do you live?
Geelong, Australia.
Where were you born?
Geelong, Australia.
What's your PDGA number?
34655.
How long have you been playing?
2006, so 17 years.
Your favourite disc?
Supreme Escape.
Your favourite course?
Queen's Park in Chicago.
Your favourite FPO player?
Jen Allen.
Your favourite MPO player?
Drew Gibson.
Lovely stuff. Okay, Brady, take us through the safari back 9.
Yeah, back 9. So this is a this or that. Keep it secret or tell everyone you know.
Tell everyone you know.
A skip ace or an air ace.
Air Ace.
Do you want to go full send on a putter or backed off on a mid?
Backed off on a mid.
Hobart or Perth?
Perth.
Paddy or Fergie?
Paddy.
Caddy for Jazz or caddy for the girls?
Caddy for Jazz.
National champion or tour champion?
National champion.
Japan champ or throw pink champ?
Oh, through pink champ.
And would you rather run it or lay up?
Run it.
Yes.
All day.
All day, every day.
All day.
Even when you have a 15-shot lead on 18.
All day.
Awesome. That is your Safari Back 9 and Sweet Can Safari. Thank you so much, Cassie. It's been a treat having you on the show.
So cool. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely. Look, very best of luck in Japan, and hopefully we'll hear from you again. And yeah, you can pop back, tell us how Japan was, and
That'd be awesome.
we can see Barkley when he's a bit older as well.
Yeah. Sure. It's only like a couple months, 2 months away. The same.
Okay, have a good one, Cassie. Thanks so much
Awesome.
for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers, then.
See you,
Bye-bye.
Cass.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Excellent. There we go, Brady. Cassie played incredibly well over the weekend.
And then some. Yeah, it was great. I caddied for her in the first round, I believe, and then caught up with her on her final round. You know, like I got to see her tap in the victory. And I got to love him to death. Melvin, the TD from Disc Golf South, didn't quite know which lady was which. So when it came to Cassie tapping out on 18, there was a little confusion on who your FPO winner was, which was kind of fun to watch and be a part of. Everyone laughed. It was a good time. The card was great. It was super happy to spend time and see her play, and just kind of, she has the distance, she has the accuracy, she was making her putts. Like I said, she's outside circle on 18 and runs it. She easily could have laid it up, and it was like, no, just little spinner bid, just past the basket. And it was like, whoa, yeah, just love the competition, the competitiveness of her. Yeah, congratulations, Cassie, on the FPO victory and being a New Zealand champ for a year.
Absolutely. Right, let's have a look through some of the other results from the weekend. Let's start with the MPO division, shall we? Let's see if we can make this a bit bigger so we can see. How's that? Is that all right? We can probably do better than that, actually.
Now we're good. I've brought it up. You're
excellent. Okay, so MPO division. Oh no, hang on. That's way too.
Oh yeah,
big.
it was Max. Max blew my suspicion out the water. I was like, going into the tournament, no one's going to shoot double digits. No one's going to break that 10-20, 10-25 rated round. Belgium's own Maxime shoots a 13 under par, 10.34 rated second round.
11,
to put himself in contention on the final day.
It was 11 under par, but 10.34 rated was the hot round of the weekend. And that second day seemed to be, there's a lot of hot scores during that time. Nate Perkins is just one shot back of that, hitting a 60. And then Jay's 2 shots back of it as well. As Joe Berry also had a good day on the final day. It was quite a bit of topsy-turviness going on in this division, Brady, over the course of the weekend.
Well, yeah, it was. The course provides a lot of 2-shot swings on some of the bigger holes. So the idea that the Snake, hole 11, the first par 5, second par 5, because hole 4 is also a par 5 that Max, I'm pretty sure, eagled every round. Force off the tee, and then a splice Spikeheiser, just casual 280. But yeah, those longer holes provided 2-shot swings, people taking birdies. If you slip for a second, missed a Mando, didn't make it over a green, someone could birdie and you could bogey. I definitely know that helped me down the stretch on some swings. And it definitely, you had almost everyone on the lead card and chase card was in the lead for at least a hole on the final day.
Wow, that's I mean, I was following it, and I was surprised that the chase card, or at least 2 members of the chase card, managed to catch up to the lead card, right? Because I was thinking, as I think many people were on the Saturday night, that it's between these 4. There was 2 shots, I think, separating the 4 guys at the top of the on lead card, and then you had a several shot lead back to 5th place. So fantastic fight back from Levi and Connor to make it to put that fight in, and I think they just ran out of holes in the end. Honestly, I think if the course had been 21 or 24 holes, then they may well have had enough to catch up. But as it was, we went down to the final hole.
Yep, yet again, another major championship in New Zealand decided on the final hole, on hole 18, with a 2-shot swing.
Yeah, I mean, which is exactly what happened. Well, not exactly, but it was. It was. Jay Watkinson had a 1-shot lead going into the final hole, and then the person in second, in this case, it was Nate Perkins, snags the birdie, and Jay was froze OB. I mean, that's happened twice now. In 2 majors. I mean, Nate's drive on 18 was clutch, right?
Perfect.
It was as good as you are going to see. I mean, when we talk about people hitting their head on the basket as they collect that is literally what was going to happen. It was that close. So I mean, talk about pressure that's put on Jay, because he threw after Nate on hole 18.
Yeah, well, and I talked with Nate about it after the round, and the idea of, following scores down the stretch. Jay was in the driver's seat on the back half of the course. He had a 1-stroke lead. He was getting all the birdies that he needed. Nate had the tee on hole 18 and parks it with a forehand. Having played that hole in a similar wind, I'm not discounting Jay's play. And the idea, if he took a Halo Destroyer on a hyzer line and he just kind of held it outright and it just didn't swing back in time. And so, but I know that Jay leans on 1, that Halo Destroyer, and 2, that hyzer line. So the idea of, if he's practiced that and he's comfortable with that and he's in the driver's seat, I take that same play on 18 in that same wind. Nate comes from a forehand play and has that dominant. I believe it was a C-line PD2 that he threw on a forehand, just on a frozen rope, right over the bunker, parks it, like you said. So, he put all that pressure on Jay. You know what I mean? But one thing that I want to say is that Jay was in contention to defend his title.
Yeah.
He was in the driver's seat coming into 18, he was in contention the whole weekend. So he played extremely well. He was the highest finishing like Kiwi in the field. So the fact that he's there in 2 majors, don't get me wrong, Ethan was also there coming down the stretch. It's really good to see. His play is insane. Him going over to Am Worlds, I think he's positioned himself really well, and potentially these kind of 2 second place finishes are going to lead to more hunger and more fire to dial in and to bring that confidence to another level when he goes to the States in June.
Yeah. He's got such a clinical play. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know if that's the right word to use it, but when it's not flary, it's not Simon lines. It's almost mechanical in its efficiency. Do you know what I mean? That's how I'm seeing it anyway. He's not.
Well, he has a plan.
Yeah, he's not throwing particularly big shots. He's not taking lines that other people aren't seeing. He's just throwing the disc very well in the place that when you first look at a hole and go, okay, well, should probably go that way. That way. So it's and he did. I've watched him play quite a bit now, and that's just seems to be what he does, and it's working for him incredibly well.
Yeah, I was going to say he has every aspect of the game. And it's just down to like what style on the weekend is. Does anyone else have it a little bit more dialed? He has all the distance you need. He has a forehand and a backhand. He has good approaches. And he has a great putt. And so the idea of, if he's modeled after Paul Macbeth, he's doing a really great job about putting everything together and being in contention to win at all of these major tournaments.
And of course, one more major still to come in a couple of weeks' time.
In 1 week's time.
In 1 week's time, Nate won't be there. Ethan will be. Levi will be. Maxime will be. Connor will be. It's going to be a stacked field once again, and he'll have a third chance to go one better and grab himself a major title for this 2023 season.
Do you know what the odds were on Jay going in?
Because
power rankings would have picked Levi and Jacko, who really weren't in it. Levi had the late push, sure. Jacko tied for 10th, coming off injury. But what was Jay's odds?
Jay's odds coming into the tournament.
Yeah.
They would have been fairly short because I think Jay would have been the third favourite after Levi and Jacko, and he wasn't too far back either in terms of the because the result in Christchurch really closed the gap between but especially between Jacko and the rest of the field, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we see Jackson overtaken at the top of the power rankings when they're calculated. Or when they're finalised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see some changes at the top. Let me see if I've still got the result here.
Well, I was going to say, while you're going through that, I want to give a big shout out to all the Greater Wellington players who went down. There are heaps of us who had second place finishes, heaps of people playing. Shout out to Young Ha, Phil McLeod, second place finish, Simon Fogarty, Brett Carlisle, Kath Headley, second place finish. Well done. Francis, I'm still including you in Greater Wellington. Sorry. Matt, well done on yourself going down and playing.
Let's have a look at some of the other divisions. I can't find the odds off the top of my head, or rather on one of my sheets here. However, he would have been third favourite overall. He would have been tipped to finish third. Really, if we're looking a bit further down that division and we're kind of saying who perhaps had a good weekend and who didn't, looking down the results, Francis Orange finishing 7th. I know he's kind of one of our own. We'll claim him as both a Wellingtonian and a Team Sweet Chain member. But I'm incredibly proud of that result. I think that's a fantastic result from Francis, especially that final round performance there. 9 under par was really good. So well done to Francis. Looking further down, I think Dylan Dedman Nahiwi had a very good tournament. He will be very pleased with his 13th place finish, I suspect. And I spoke to Simon Feasy after his round on Friday, after his round on Saturday, sorry. And he said he was feeling much better about things, and the strength in his shoulder wasn't deteriorating as much as he perhaps feared it might, and was able to sneak into the cash with a 1,000 rated final round. Let's have a look at we've spoken about the FPO division. Let's have a look at the MP40 division. Chris Finn took this out relatively comfortably with a 6-shot lead over Mikey Yu. He had a 3-shot lead going into the final round, shooting 988, 951 and 997. Roddy Mackay with a 3rd place finish. He'll be happy with that.
Yes, he is. Drinks were on Roddy, I'm pretty sure, on Sunday.
Johnny Ferrari bouncing back after what was a relatively disappointing performance in Christchurch. He'll be a bit happier with 4th place finish. And a shout out to Wellington's Jung Ha as well, who played incredibly well, and also played incredibly well in our mini round that we had on the Monday after we were all chilling out afterwards. Over to MP50, Mark Dakiv took this out by 11 shots. Talking about mini throwers, Mark Dakiv taking this one out by quite a substantial margin. Over in MA1, Brady, talk us through this. What a battle.
Yeah, it was good. Andrew and I shared a card all 3 rounds. We were the last card of MA1 for all 3 rounds. And it pretty much became a 2-horse race. He earned it. He really earned it. I made him play the best round of his life. It was a title defense for me, so I didn't get to play last year. So it's been 2 years since I played Nationals when I won MA1 at Paradise. And I came into that last round 1 stroke back, and I'm like, look, I'm going to attack. I'm going to play, stay focused, stay in it. And so, yeah, I tied it up on hole 11. He took a birdie on hole 12, and that's all it took. He held hole 12 through to hole 18. And so, yeah, it was just, we went birdie for birdie, par for par for pretty much the entire course. It was an epic battle. I wish it was filmed. Because of the 2 of us pushing each other, we were 10 shots clear of the field. It was just so much fun to play. Big shout out to caddy and coach Tom McKay, who was on the bag for Andrew all weekend. Big shout out to Andrew. He was a little rocky putting day 1 and day 2. Didn't miss a single putt day 3. Big shout out and congratulations to him. Sweet Chain going 1-2. I'm not disappointed in my performance. He earned the win, so congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, I followed quite a bit of, well, as much as I could, of you guys on the weekend, and it was it was incredible to see such a tight battle, and also neither of you at any point really had more than a 2-shot advantage at any one point, and you 2 were out front for pretty much the whole tournament. So incredible battle. I think hole 14, I think you both took a double bogey on the final hole 14. And I was watching this from the basket. I was stood at the very end of the tunnel watching you guys play down it. And when one of you made a mistake off the tee, and then the other one would make a mistake off the tee, and I was like, oh, here we go. And it seemed that even that hole seemed to represent what was going on for the whole tournament. Just flip-flop the whole time.
Yeah, I was clean off the tee. He was in the rough. So he had to kind of chip back to the fairway. I had a good second shot. but then kind of an errant third shot and left myself with maybe a 6-meter putt for bogey. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of tree obstruction. It was probably my one mistake down the stretch. So yeah, I missed the putt from 6 meters to tie it up and to put more pressure on Andrew. And yeah, maybe that was it, but again, like I also missed 18. I got it rounds 1, round 2, but I just threw it into the ground on that final hole. So yeah, but I can't fault him. The battle was great. Like you said, I'd get a drive, he wouldn't. I'd make a putt, he would. Yeah, we were shot for shot almost the whole event. Yeah. A meter apart on many of our drives, a meter apart on many of our up shots. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. To get pushed like that, to be pushing each other was just awesome.
Yeah. Congratulations, Andrew. Very, very well played. You shot the two best rounds of your life in that tournament. And the 964 is probably 4th, I think, including those two as well. So 3 of the best 4 rounds you've ever shot, which to do it at a national tournament is incredible. Moving on to FA1, we spoke about Alexandra Williams taking out FA1 with a very good score of 5 under par on the red course over Stephanie Stridham, and then a bit of a battle going on for 3rd place between Megan and Michaela down the stretch. That's a battle which came down to the final hole as well.
Well, in Michaela's goal, talking to her, so big shout out. She's another podium finish for Greater Wellington. She literally makes the birdie on 18, final day, to finish 3rd, then races off to the Invercargill Velodrome to race for the New Zealand Cycling Sprint Championship for a 3rd place. They set a personal best in that race and came up 1 second short of finishing 3rd.
Well, imagine going to playing a whole round of disc golf and then going off and doing a cycling sprint race.
I'm pretty sure she sprinted to make it to that bronze medal race, then came to play the round to finish in bronze, and then went off to race again to come up just short of her 2nd bronze in the same weekend.
I bet her legs were just on fire after that. That would have been crazy.
I hope she did. Yeah, she would have needed plenty of cardio for the weekend.
Indeed. Over to MA40, the best division. Looking at this, huge props to Russell King, who held his nerve and his cool on the
wire to wire
on the final day. And also to Phil McLeod, who put in a string of incredible performances, shooting a 55, 55, and 56 over the course of the weekend, very consistent.
He shot 70 points above his rating on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's an incredible job. And I wasn't on his card at any point, but I was on the card behind. As you see, I'm languishing a little bit further down. But yeah, no, great fun this division, especially the guys I got to play with. Got to play with Barry, Hayden, Luke, Shane, Simon, Brett. Got to play with quite a few of them over the weekend, and it was very good fun. So anybody who is thinking about maybe hanging up their disc bag when they hit 40, don't bother. Go and play an MA40. It's good fun. What else have we got? We have FA40. This looked like we might have a surprise on our hands, even as much as going into the final round, when Kath Headley had a 4-shot lead over Nicola Stout after the first round, and was only 2 shots back after the second.
Yep. Kath seemed more happy to just be out playing. So she had that good kind of first round. She played together with Nico the whole time. I was hoping she could kind of pip her on the home course. Nicola said, I don't want you to bring Kath south. She plays too well. So yeah, but arguably this battle is going to be good to follow for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's one that's not going to go away anytime soon, I don't think. And I think that scored separation of 6 shots over the course of the years will only get smaller. MA50, Steve Lawson fairly comfortably takes out this division by 13 shots, shooting an event average of, what's that, 961, 962. So well done to him. That would have, I think that was one of the best, if not the best score on the red course. I think it would have taken, best score on the red course. So so well done to Steve.
I would agree, and I would argue he's probably going MP here pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean there was an MP50 division that played the gold course, so so that's maybe one to look out for. Obviously,
I bet he could have given Mark a run for his money.
I completely agree, and actually, if you look at the ratings of the event ratings, he probably would have taken it out if he played his rating on the gold course. I know you can't really do that, but you know. That's how the maths work out.
Yep. FA50, we have another Greater Wellington. Finished to win it. Go Debs.
Indeed, taking this out. She had great fun. I was talked to her about the course. She loved the red course. The fact that there were some birdie opportunities. She was, even by her own admission, she was saying, look, it's great that I even I can reach some of these birdies, which was great. So that's good to see. Over in MA60, Andy Brewster took out this by 19 shots, so quite a commanding victory there. So well done to him. Over in FA60, Fiona Menzies takes out the division by 8 shots over Jennifer Joint.
Ming ka-ching.
How many national titles is that now?
That's a couple.
Yeah.
To be fair, Jenny was in the lead after round 1. It was a pretty tight battle kind of until that last round.
Yeah. Over in MA2, we had Benjamin Ari wins it by 15 strokes to take out and play. And we've got another, Brady, we've got another 980 rated round in MA2. The MA2 players are really turning it on this year.
To be fair, we were supposed to share a card first round. So he dropped from MA1 to MA2. Maybe it was because he preferred the red course to the gold. But yeah, congratulations to him, RPM player over from Florida, who had an absolute dream of a trip.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, he was talking in the what was it, the prize giving, about how much of a good time he'd had. Over in FA2, Claire Bruton takes away the victory here. Pretty tight.
That's the one. What was it? That's not bad.
And in MA3, Sean Aitken and Ben Kennedy had a good battle at the top of MA3. Sean Kennedy taking out the victory. Just a one shot in it going into the final round. So yeah. Well done to Sean. And finally in the junior division, Isaac Latter fairly comfortably taking out MJ18. Jai Tufunga taking out MJ15 with an 11 under par. Interesting round actually, or interesting. I think a lot of people were watching Jai's score because he was one of the first people to tee off every day, because being in the junior division, they normally get out about 7:30 or 8 o'clock. So by the time we were having breakfast, we were kind of watching his score kind of come in, kind of hole by hole, and we were kind of going, well, here's a player that actually, if we can get anywhere close to what he's shooting, or be thereabouts, actually we're probably pretty pleased with that. So it was interesting to see what he was doing, what it came out rated as, and those comparisons were being made, especially within the house where we were.
Yeah, he only beat you by 11 strokes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if I could have had an extra 11 strokes, then I would have been tied for the lead, indeed. And finally, Alison Tweedy coming in at an event average of about 825. So again, 50 ratings points higher than her current rating. So well done to her. Right, we've got one more major in less than a week. So this is up in Topor. The practice round will be this time next week. Brady, you're going up for this.
Yes, sir.
So this is going to be good fun. Unfortunately, I'm not able to make it this year, so which is disappointing because I said last year I was definitely going to go to Topor, and it just happened it would be a major, but unfortunately, things haven't worked out. But we're going to be doing a stream. We'll be back next week to go through a preview of the Topor course. Brady, you by this point will have played a practice round, at least on the. I think you're playing. Are you playing the black layout?
Yes. I need to double check that. It's one of those that's one of the things that's changed, and I've never actually played the golf course yet.
Okay, so I think there's a black, red, and blue layout depending on which division. So make sure you check which division you're playing in. Clearly this week there'll be a lot of preps. I also expect a players meeting at some point to come up, but we'll be following all of the previewing, and next week we'll actually we're trying to get one of the organising committee for Topor to come onto the show also as well. We're just trying to work out who's available on that Thursday. Because obviously it's the day before a major tournament. There's quite a lot of organisation, and probably the last thing they want to do is talk to us. But if we can manage to grab somebody for a short period of time, then we will. Otherwise, that is it from us for today. As I said, power rankings are going to be coming out tomorrow, so look out for a note from us tomorrow. Pop down in the comments who you think is going to be the big movers and shakers following the weekend we've just had, so look out for that coming tomorrow. But wherever you're playing disc golf, take it easy, play well, get some birdies, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.